What's up, guys? This is Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our Week 8 team builder for the aABL, or the A-Drive Army Battle League. This week we are taking on Ruben Esparza and his Dallas Cobalions. Ruben has been unlucky like we have been this season, and unfortunately he has a worse record than us, so this is a very important game for us to pick up a win in, to make sure that we're still in the playoff race. I don't believe that we're eliminated yet. I do believe we still have a chance. But let's run through Ruben's team. So he's got Tapu Bulu, which is a Z user, Melodic, Arcanine, Crobat, Piloswine, Exploud, Zebstrika, which is a Z user, Mega Banette, Latios, which is a Z user, Umbreon, Lucario, and Aromatisse. Worthy to note that the dock hasn't been updated for this week yet, and I'm recording this on Wednesday, so I'm not sure what's going on with that yet. I did make a drop, and I'm not sure if it's active this week or not, so I chose not to bring it just in case. We dropped a Selgor for Swellow. I haven't come up with a nickname for Swellow yet. My normal nickname is Boom, but we'll see if I go with that or a French name. I'll probably pick something in French for it, maybe Boom in French or something like that. If Swellow comes this season, then you'll see the nickname. Otherwise, don't worry about it, right? So, on his team, well, actually, let's talk about the priority and stuff first. So he's got priority in Arcanine with Extreme Speed, Piloswine with Ice Shard, Mega Banette with Shadow Sneak, Umbreon with Quick Attack, Lucario with Extreme Speed, Vacuum Wave, and Bullet Punch. He only has hazard settings in Piloswine with Stealth Rocks, and I assumed Lucario got Stealth Rocks, but after some further research, I don't think it does. So I think he's only got the one Rocker, and he's got removal options in Crobat with Defog and Latios with Defog. That's it. And he has 1/4 weakness in Tapu Bulu to Poison. Now, I'm not predicting Tapu Bulu to come. I don't think Tapu Bulu has a good matchup against my team. Skarmory hard walls it. Serena walls it relatively well. Incineroar walls it relatively well. Weavile picks it off with an Ice Shard pretty easily. Nidoking can just destroy it with a Sludge Wave. Venomoth can destroy it with a Sludge Bomb. Like, I really don't think Tapu Bulu has a good matchup against me. If it does come, that's almost even better for me. Gives me some really good recovery, and I have good options to beat it with. So, that's my thoughts on Tapu Bulu. I don't think Umbreon would come necessarily. Umbreon's a big maybe for me because I don't have a fighting, I have Girder as my only fighting type, and I actually thought Girder might have had a relatively good matchup this week, but I opted not to bring it, mostly because of Arcanine. I think Arcanine can kind of just sit there and burn it and stuff, and Latios can absolutely destroy it with a Psychic. That was the other thing there. Otherwise, Girder looks pretty decent against his team overall, especially if he wants to burn it. That's even better for the Girder, right? So, last but not least, I don't think Aromatisse is coming. Again, my two poison types are a lot faster than his Aromatisse, and excuse me, I can't sit in on Nidoking just spamming Sludge Wave, which seems pretty free against his team given his only Steel type is Lucario, and I can Earth Power that relatively easily. So, yeah, I think we have a pretty decent matchup. Again, I think that any one of the other 9 could come, so that's kind of a challenge there. Mega Banette being a very strange one, and I'm always scared of Mega Banette. I always kind of over-prep for Mega Banette just because of Prankster Destiny Bond. It's a scary thing to go up against, because he can basically just trade 1-for-1 on whatever he wants, and that's not good. Sorry about that, it's around breakfast time for me. So, let's maybe talk about our team real quick here. Start off with Skarmory. We are running ACA or Skarmory with the Leftovers and the Sturdy ability with Stealth Rock, Roost, Whirlwind, and Iron Head. He doesn't have good removal, and I'm willing to trade rocks for rocks this match pretty much all the time. We're not bringing removal, I don't think, so I'm willing to trade rocks for rocks. Rocks get a lot of good chip damage on his team. He's got 1 resist to rock in Lucario, and so getting up rocks sort of hinder him quite a bit. Got the Roost on there for some recovery of Whirlwind in case he wants to SD with something like Tapu Bulu, or Calm Mind with something like Latios, even Cotton Guard with something like Mega Banette, SD, Nasty Plot with Lucario, all of those things. Melodic Coil, well, you don't see that very often, but Melodic could coil, Nasty Plot on Crobat potentially even. And I've got Iron Head there as my only attacking move. This is to deal with the Tapu Bulu a little bit better without taking recoil damage. It's not as effective against the rest of his team, potentially, but this is also a decent way to check the Aromatisse. I'm expecting some sort of fire coverage or Arcanine to come for sure for this. I think even Nasty Bat looks decent against my team, just to beat the Skarmory with a special attack, just like how Rudiger used Overheat against my Skarmory back in Week 6. Potentially the same sort of deal there. I'm running like the standard physically defensive set, but I moved the speed into attack for the Iron Head because I didn't need to speed creep over anything, and I'm running an odd amount of HP because that's a Stealth Rock friendly number. Next up is Incineroar. I felt like physically defensive Skarmory and specially defensive Incineroar sort of balanced each other out this game. I think it's kind of decent. This can check the Arcanine pretty well actually as well as checking the Latios almost indefinitely. Excuse me. The Latios does have to run Surf to be able to hit my Incineroar or HP fighting. It doesn't have good moves to hit my Incineroar with, so this is a really good Latios check as the Skarmory is a really good Bulu check and Lucario check. U-turn for the momentum flame charge in case I can just get some speed off and then get another hit off or a fast U-turn after that. Flare Blitz to be able to deal with Tapu Bulu a little bit better, as well as hit a lot of things on his team super hard. He doesn't have recovery on a few Mons, so he's got recovery on Arcanine, Melodic, Crobat, Latios, Umbreon, and Aromatisse, right? But he doesn't have recovery on things like Exploud, things like Banette, things like Lucario, things like Substrika, and so I think Flare Blitzing those is a really good idea. And then I've got Knockoff there as my Dark Stab to be able to knock off items, to be honest. He does have 2 potential Justified users, so I have to watch out for that, but I don't think Lucario is going to switch in on me because then I can hit it with a Fire Attack. And if I'm in on Arcanine, it seems like a free knockoff to me anyways. And you don't normally see Justified Arcanine. He could bring it because I do have 2 Dark types. We'll see. I'm actually bringing both Dark types as well. Yeah, so we're running a really defensive set with Adamant 44 attack. I kind of just threw these EVs in randomly, but it seemed like it was enough investment for me to be able to do something later with Flare Blitz and maybe get a little bit more U-turn chip damage off. Again, he doesn't have the best bug resists. Excuse me. So U-turn seems pretty free most of the time. Next up is Rotom-Wash with the leftovers. We're running HP Poison for the Tapu Bulu, which I would imagine is a switch into this thing. If he brings Tapu Bulu, I'm bringing HP Poison for it. It's a 2-shot on Tapu Bulu with this investment, HP Poison, so that's kind of cool. It's pretty free to switch into Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, or Hydro Pump, honestly. I don't know if you would switch it in just out of the fear of Will-O-Wisp, but I'm not running Will-O-Wisp this week. I have the Thunderbolt on there to deal with Melodic. This is my Melodic answer. I can also deal with Crobat really well if it's physical because of Rotom's typing. I gotta watch out for the Thunderbolt on the Zubstrika, but we're also running Shadow Ball on here for things like Mega Banette and for things like Latios, because Latios could also be his Rotom Sponge. And then I've got Toxic on there for things like Aromatisse, things like Mega Banette, things like Pilliswine. Although I don't think Pilliswine can really touch me, so there's that. I'd also love to Toxic the Melodic before it got a Flame Orb buff if he's running that set, and Toxicking the Arcanine would be really cool because I'm not running Water Stab this week, right? So that's kind of that. We're running a lot of speed investment on this thing. We're actually running Timid 216, which lets us outrun Melodic. So if he's running a max speed Melodic, we're outspeeding it. I wanted to make sure that I was at the very least outspeeding Melodic so I could get a Toxic off on it before it got Flame Orb up. And we're not actually running Volt Switch this week because I felt like I needed Thunderbolt to be able to deal with Melodic one-on-one. Although Volt Switch does look okay, as Zubstrika is kind of a free switch into it, and I'd rather be clicking Shadow Ball against his team for the most part. He's got one Shadow Ball resist and 1 immunity, Shadow Ball resist and Umbreon immunity and Exploud. HP Poison again for the Tapu Bulu. That's what the tiny bit of special attack investment's there for, just to make sure that HP Poison's a 2-shot. And we're running max HP, but an odd value for Stealth Rocks. We're bringing Weavile. I'm bringing a Banded Weavile with Pursuit. This lets us Pursuit Trap the Latios, which is really cool. I'm not sure, and the Manette as well, potentially. I don't know if he would want to switch out with either of them. Potentially he would. I don't know. I know Banded Weavile seems like a really good play to me this game. Just because Knockoff does a whole lot, and then late game I can safely click Icicle Crash against most of his team. His 2 resists are the Melodic and the Arcanine, and I don't think that they're very great resists to a Banded Weavile, personally. Max attack with 184 Jolly. This lets us outrun the Zebstrika, which is the fastest thing we can outspeed. Crobat outspeeds our entire team now that we dropped a Selgor, and I wouldn't bring a Selgor to outspeed Crobat anyways. That doesn't make any sense. Rest is in HP, making sure it's an odd value, which just happened to work out. Next up, well, actually, sorry, we'll talk about Poison Jab real quick. That's for the Tapu Bulu in case I need it. It's also for the Aromatisse in a dangerous situation. I thought about running Low Kick on this set as well, or Brick Break for Lucario and Umbreon, but I realized that I needed the priority potentially in Ice Shard to pick off something like the Crobat late game. Yeah, so next up's Mega Gardevoir, bringing Trace actually to trace things and figure out what ability he might be on a few different things. So I want to figure out what ability he might be on Zebstrika. I have a feeling he's going to be Motor Drive, but he could be Sap Sipper in case he's fearing Serena against Melodic or something like that. I'd also love to trace something like Grassy Surge just to extend it if it happens to be that way. And the biggest one is to figure out what ability the X-Cloud is going to be. I need to trace the X-Cloud to see if he's going to be Scrappy or if he's going to be Soundproof. If he's Soundproof, then I have to switch right afterwards. If he's Scrappy, then I go into Incineroar. That's kind of my X-Cloud check. X-Cloud can tear through this team potentially, but I have a lot of threats that are faster than it, and I'm sort of hoping that we can just deal with it that way. It's a pretty slow mon, and that's sort of just the plan with the X-Cloud, I guess. 216 speed on Gardevoir lets us outrun Arcanine, and max special attack with some HP investment. We're running Hyper Voice because it hits quite a few things on his team. It hits a lot of things super effectively. His resist is Crobat, and I've got Shadow Ball on there for the Mega Banette, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what it's there for. Otherwise, I would have taken Psychic. I can't remember. I'm sorry, I actually built this team quite a while ago, but I'm going to leave it on Shadow Ball. I've got Taunt on there for the Mega Banette as well. If he wants to like Destiny Bond one turn, I can taunt him, and then Wish the next turn after that, and then kill it with a Shadow Ball. I think that was kind of the idea with the Gardevoir set there. We're rocking the Wish as well, which should help us deal with X-Cloud a little bit as well, being able to Wish Pass into something with no recovery like Incineroar. Last but not least is Venomoth. We're running Life Orb Tinted Lens with Quiver Dance, Sludge Bomb, Bug Buzz, and Sleep Powder. Sludge Bomb and Bug Buzz was all the stab that I need against his team. Tinted Lens Bug Buzz blows through things like Lucario that resist it, and it blows through things that don't resist it like Umbreon. And then Sludge Bomb, he's got a relatively poison weak team, and it hits everything at least neutrally bar Banette and Piloswine, I believe. And Lucario is obviously immune to it. So that's kind of the Venomoth set. We're running max speed on this to speed tie Lucario potentially. And then after a Quiver Dance, we should be able to outspeed his entire team. Max special attack. The rest is in special defense just because it's going to benefit me a little bit more than defense with how much higher the base stat is. So that's our Venomoth set, and I'm hoping to let Venomoth sweep this game. I think it's primed and ready for it. We've got a lot of good other options there. It's our only setup sweeper this week, so everything else is kind of utility to deal with that. And potentially we've allocated cleanup late game with Banded Ice Shard. That's also an option if I weaken everything enough. Melodic's going to be the main thing stopping that, and Arcanine's going to be the main thing stopping that. Otherwise, I think it could go through and put in some work. That's the team. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we play Ruben in Week 8, and I will catch you guys for the match.